Their defensive program is all knocked out. They don't have anything.
What? Is that AI? Why does he sound so weird? They don't have anything.
And we begin this Sunday morning with breaking news on the war in Iran. President Trump announcing moments ago a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is beginning.
Wow.
Coming up in moments, President Trump will join me in an exclusive interview to give us the very latest on the war
Wait, why did nobody
on
bring this
Iran,
up?
as high-level talks between the United States and Iran have concluded with no deal. It was the first direct talks between the two countries in a decade and the highest level talks between the two since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. The talks beginning on Saturday and lasting 21 hours in Islamabad, Pakistan. Vice President J.D. Vance was in Pakistan leading the U.S. delegation, along with Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, as a fragile ceasefire has been underway between the two sides since Tuesday, after President Trump agreed to give Iran 2 more weeks to open up the Strait of Hormuz or face further destruction. Now the president will implement a naval blockade on the strait. Here's Vice President J.D. Vance after the talks in Islamabad this morning.
We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America.
Wow, so brave.
Joining me now live on the telephone with the very latest is the nation's 45th and 47th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I know that your time is limited, and we appreciate you making the time to explain all of this to our audience. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Maria.
Mr. President, can you explain to us what is going on right now with the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we're going to be blockading. It'll take a little while, but it'll be effective pretty soon. And we had meetings yesterday. They, as you said, lasted 21 hours. That was a long meeting. We had some very, very good representatives, as you know, J.D. and Steve and Jared. So we were well represented, but we didn't get there on the important issue. They want to have nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons. I've been saying that for 30 years. I would never allow that to happen.
Never, ever.
And that country will not have nuclear weapons. Most countries shouldn't be allowed to have, but that country will not have nuclear weapons.
So, Mr. President, was that the red line there? Can you explain to us what went on?
We don't do red lines here, lady.
In these talks, what did the United States ask of Iran, and how did they react?
You can't give that away.
Well, they reacted. You know, it was very interesting. It started off weak. They came in like they had the cards, but they don't have the cards. Their army, their whole military is obliterated. The whole place is obliterated. And, you know, as you know, levels of leaders are gone. They're literally gone. Khomeini's gone. The whole thing is gone. The whole place is gone. They have one thing that they can do. They can say, well, gee, we're going to put a mine someplace just a mine. We'll drop 1 mine, 2 mines, 10 mines. And that will, if you have a ship that costs $1 billion, you say, well, you know, I'd prefer not getting whacked by a mine, losing my ship, or damaging it badly, at least. And so that's a little bit of a thing that they can do, and that it's military might and military power don't do it, but, you know, it's extortion, and they're extorting the world. You know, we don't get our oil from there. We have so much, and one thing you said, and I don't know if anybody heard it well, but we have boats pouring up to the United States. They'll be filling them up, and they'll be leaving, and they're going to be packed with the best oil you can get, light, sweet, crude. They're going to have the best oil that you can get. But so that's interesting, and it's great because we have a lot of oil. We don't get any. I mean, literally last year was 1%. We did that as a favor. We don't need the strait, but other countries do. And I will tell you, while we're on the subject, we're very disappointed with NATO. We're very, very disappointed that they didn't come. Now they want to come and they want to help with the strait, and it won't take long to clean it out. So we're going to clean out the strait, and they'll be able to use the strait in not too long a distance. But we had a very intensive negotiation, and toward the end it got very friendly, and we got just about every point we needed, except for the fact that they refused to give up their nuclear ambition. And that's the only point, frankly, to me. That was the most important point by far.
And I want to ask you about that, and I will get to NATO as well. But, Mr. President, you wrote on Truth Social this morning saying that we will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. And at some point, we will reach an all being allowed to go in and all being allowed to go out basis. Right. So tell us what you're trying to accomplish with this blockade,
all in,
sir.
All out. Yep. It's called all in and all out. There'll be a time when we'll have them all come in and all come out. But it won't be a percentage. It won't be a friend of yours, like a country that's your ally or a country that's your friend. It's all or nothing. And that'll be that won't be in too long.
Shrimple as.
No, we're just bringing the ships up. We got a lot of ships, so we're bringing them up. We think that numerous countries are going to be helping us with this also, but we're putting on a complete blockade. We're not going to let Iran make money on selling oil to people that they like and not people that they don't like or whatever it is. It's going to be all or none, and that's the way it is. And it'll be, you saw what we did with Venezuela. It'll be something very...
Do you think this is an untenable position as the U.S. with your foreign interests, as in getting a favorable outcome out of this without Iran nuclearizing and tolling the strait? I can't analyze anything that's happening. I don't know what the fuck is. I don't know what the U.S. is doing. I don't know what anybody is doing. I don't know what the world expects. I don't know what the U.S. expects. I don't know I have no idea, bro.
Similar to that, but at a higher level.
And Mr. President, you say that there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them, and this is world extortion. How will the United States ensure that the mines are removed in the Strait of Hormuz?
So we have minesweepers there now. We have highly sophisticated underwater minesweepers, which are the latest and the greatest, but we're also bringing in more traditional minesweepers. And so I understand is the UK and a couple of other countries are sending minesweepers. A lot of countries don't have minesweepers. Think of it. They had 28 mine droppers. What country has 28 mine droppers? 28 boats to drop mines. What country? They've been completely obliterated. They no longer. So we knocked out their entire Navy. They have 158 ships. They have 28 mine droppers. Every single one of them is at the bottom of the sea. Can you believe it?
So all the mines are gone, right?
4 days.
Wait, then why are we blockading anything? It should just be open then, right? We should be good. No?
Their Air Force is gone. Their if you look, anti-aircraft. All of their radars out. Anti-aircraft is their defensive program is all knocked out. They don't have anything. And you know the sad part is.
What? Is that AI? Why does he sound so weird? They don't have anything.
Program is all knocked out. They don't have anything. And you know the sad part is, and I can't say this is for you, we knocked out everything, including their leaders. Their military is gone. Everything's gone. Their missiles are down to a trickle by comparison. You know, we knocked out thousands of missiles. We knocked out hundreds of places where the missiles are built, different parts. They're pretty much gone. Probably, they say 85, 82%, 85%, who knows what it is, but we knocked them out. We knocked out where they make the drones, and the drones are less effective now. And also, we have new machinery to kill the drones. You saw that. The computerized bullets, they call it. And also, lasers. The laser melts the drone. It's a beautiful thing to see. So we have a lot of stuff. But think of it. We win this thing conclusively. Even yesterday, they were saying, no, it was a complete obliteration. And when you read the New York Times, you think they're doing well. Oh, they're fighting very hard.
Gotta take some time to attack this stupid mugshot that they all use. Just the whole idea of like the U.S. president doing a dick suck interview on Fox News. It's just crazy, bro.
It wasn't a hard battle. This was a very easy battle militarily. But when somebody says, you know, we're going to drop a mine in the middle of the Strait of Hormuz, not much you can do to persuade a ship owner that has $1 billion ship that we're going to take a trip up the strait. Now, yesterday you probably saw, we sent 2 highly sophisticated, beautiful, brand new destroyers right through the middle of the strait.
It was fine.
And nobody did anything to it.
It was perfectly fine.
What we do is we follow the weapon back. So it follows back and it knocks out the people on the other side. Literally within 3 minutes, they're knocked out. The technology is unbelievable.
Unbelievable,
but
guys.
We don't know whether or not they do, whether or not they put mines. They didn't talk about it yesterday. My inclination is to have a few. And I will tell you, it was a good meeting yesterday, really a good meeting, except for one problem. And it's 95%. They want to have nuclear weapons. It's not going to happen.
And this is a key point, Mr. President. For those people out there who have not been following it as closely, can you explain to those people why it was critical for the United States to go into Iran? Can you articulate what was behind that move that was so important for the U.S. to go into Iran?
Can you, though?
Yeah, so easy.
Yeah.
The easiest question you've asked me so
ever.
far. They can't have nuclear weapons.
Shrimple as.
They want to enrich what they have. They want to enrich more. As you know, we knocked out with the B-2 bombers. Had we not knocked that out, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month after we knocked out. In other words, had the B-2s, those beautiful B-2 bombers, totally obliterated their 3 sites. They have 3 sites. And they are now deep in the earth with, tons of rock. Now, that material should be gotten, but we have cameras on it. We have satellites with Space Force. That was one of my beauties, Space Force. So important. But we're watching those. We're watching every single aspect of that area. They can't move without us knowing it. exactly what's going on. But
Hey,
What's up,
Hello?
buddy? Hi.
can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm calling you from Budapest.
Oh, hey. What's up?
You're covering what's going on there or not?
Yeah. We saw.
Hungarian friends of mine with whom I'm celebrating here,
Nice.
who asked me if it would be okay with you if they could give you a little message from here. Would that be fine with you?
Yeah. Go for it.
Oh, I think I lost connection. Maybe I'm too drunk to operate this shit.
We can still hear you.
No, I'm not too drunk. Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I think I'm too drunk for this.
Okay. He left. Rip. Shrimple eyes.
and it takes a long time to get it out. It's an amazing attack. Had we not done that, they would have had, within 1 month from that date, they would have had a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East. Look, they went after 5
Was that Kraut?
countries
Yeah.
that were sort of neutral, I guess. I don't know how friendly they were, but they weren't in the line of attack. They dropped on UAE probably 1,800 missiles. They dropped on Saudi Arabia a lot, and they dropped on Qatar a lot. They dropped on Bahrain. They went crazy.
It was a lot,
And
guys.
Everyone was surprised. Actually, it was good for us because they all joined us immediately, at some point. I mean, they're either going to be petrified or they're going to join. They all joined, and they've been very helpful. All of these countries have been great, and Kuwait.
And this is the key point that I was getting to, and the reason that you feel they cannot have a nuclear weapon because they will use it. And that's what I wanted you to
I think they'd
explain
use
to the
it, yeah.
audience.
Yeah, I think they would use it. And they'd start with Israel, and one weapon would, do damage like nobody's ever seen. Wipe it out.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? Hello, hello.
Hey, I can hear you now. Sorry, we were out on the streets too much. I'm here with a bunch of Hungarian friends of mine. We thought we'd just jump in and give you a little message.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
I have stolen his phone now. I want to say the following things, and I'm a little bit drinky, as you might hear it. Currently,
Voting works.
yeah, I think voting works. I don't know what to think about it. There is the largest street party I have ever seen in this city ever. Yes.
Yeah.
And I have two things to say. Ruski kaza, és áradjon a Tisza.
Have a nice day, Stephen. I
Thank
hope
you.
you're doing well.
Yeah, cool. Do you get to tell me what that means? I have no idea what you just said.
It means Russians get out.
Ruskis go home.
Gotcha.
And what does the other mean?
It means may the Tisza flood.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Conceivably big one.
Now,
Not wipe it out. They
Miss-
don't need more than one. And then they go after the Middle East, and then they'd eventually come here. Okay, and we're not letting them come here, and we're not going to let them. We have great allies over there. I'll tell you, those 5 countries. Look at the Israeli relationship. Look at the incredible partnership we have on this. And as Bibi Netanyahu said, we're the big brother, and they're the small brother. And it's been a very effective team. What we've done literally in a matter of days, within 3-4 days, Iran essentially was wiped out. And it's so sad, though, when the press says they're fighting bravely. They're not fighting bravely. They have no anti-aircraft. We fly over there at will, can take out anything we want. As you know, last week I said we're going to strongly consider knocking out their power plant and the rest of their bridges. We took down their big bridge, but we just did that because we were having good discussions, and they go to the press. They're very good with public relations, much better with public relations than they are at fighting. They go to the press.
True.
And they say, President Trump said it's okay for us to have a nuclear weapon, when I never even spoke to him. And by the way, that would be the only thing I would never say to them. And they know that.
That's the only thing
And
you
then
wouldn't
the
say.
New York Times, which is a fake paper. It's
Holy
just a fake.
shit,
You
bro.
just
It's
believe
always
the
so
opposite.
unhinged.
It's so sad when you look at CNN, the New York Times, ABC fake news, NBC fake news. When you look at this stuff, it's so sad to see it. I mean, they report things that they know are false. It's almost treasonous, actually. If you
Oh,
want to really know the
treasonous.
truth. It's almost treasonous.
Treasonous.
But if you're reading the New York Times exclusively, and their circulation, by the way, is way down.
Yeah.
It's way down.
Way down.
I'm proud to report that. But if you're
Report.
reading the New York Times
Reporter
exclusively,
now.
you would say that they are doing great in the war.
Mr. President, I
And
want
they're
to.
doing terrible.
I wanna
The
ask you
only
about
thing
He's
that.
they have
talking.
is the
Let him
ability
finish.
to say, well, we may have some minds, and if you have a ship, who wants to take a chance? You're not going to take a chance.
Mr. President, I want to ask you about that because you put out a tweet and it really gripped the nation a week ago when we were all waiting and watching for the United States' next move should the Iranians not open the Strait of Hormuz. And you wrote this on Truth
You wrote
Social.
something a little bit And
whole
unhinged.
civilization will die
What did you mean
tonight,
by that?
never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something wonderful can happen. Mr. President, you were criticized for this tweet because you said a whole civilization will die tonight. What do you want to say about that? And what can you tell us
help him
about next
workshop that.
steps here? Are you planning
Well, I'm
further
fine with
destruction?
it.
I'm fine. He doesn't give a fuck.
Fine with it. That statement brought them to the table, with the exception of the one thing, which I
It was a
believe that they're gonna
negotiating
give up on.
tactic, guys.
I believe they're going to give up on that pretty soon, to be honest, because it's not going to work. We actually thought we had them, and then all of a sudden they said, no, we want. So, but I believe, no. And when I say that, but remember, what do they say to us?
United States of America president. This is the United States of America president of the United States of America, the most powerful country on the planet. Our president, our leader, the United States of America, by the way.
For years, I've had to listen to them say, death to America, right? They say, death to America, death to Israel, America, the Satan, we will destroy America, death to America. Now, does anybody ever complain to you when they say that? I think that's a big step worse. Death to America. So they're allowed to say death to America.
And I can't
what I'm
say
referring to
end of
is-
civilization?
And when I talk about civilization, it'll be much different because their military will be totally gone. It's pretty much gone now. But their military, look at their leadership. We have had regime change because the people we dealt with yesterday were, frankly, very smart, very sharp, very good, very good. I think they were smarter than the people from before, Khomeini and that group. Because look what it got them. Look what all of their antics were spending they spent all their money on weapons. We've destroyed most of those weapons. But when I say about a civilization, it really has changed. It really has. But think of it. They're allowed to say death to America, death to this, death to, and I make one statement, they say, oh, such a big deal. Let me tell you, that statement got them to the bargaining table, and they haven't left. They haven't left the bargaining table. I predict they come back and they give us everything we want.
Wow.
And I told my people, I want everything. I don't want 90%. I don't want 95%. I told them, I want everything.
Well, and what they
They have
want...
no cards, Maria.
They're not the cards,
They have
guys.
no cards.
Doug
Their
Fassini fan, thank you for the
Navy
gifted
is
subs.
gone. Their Air Force is gone, totally gone. They have nothing.
They have nothing,
ships.
guys.
158 ships are at the bottom of the sea. Good ones, new. The Soleimani, they had one called the Soleimani, was taken out by one of our tiger sharks, by one of our rapidly moving submarines.
Think you're supposed to say this?
It's amazing. Our military is so good. Do you know our military is a 94% approval rating now?
Well,
Congress has a 14%. The media has a 12%. When I started, the media had a 92% approval rating. Now they're down to 14%.
Wow.
And I'm very proud of it because they're very dishonest.
Mr. President, I see what just took place in terms of our NATO allies pushing back and not supporting you and the United States. And I see what has
Treasonous.
happened with our Gulf allies in the Middle East who do not want a bully in the Middle East any longer. Are you expecting those Gulf allies to help you in this blockade in the Strait of Hormuz?
Oh, yeah,
what
sure.
other countries are going to
they've
join
already
that?
started. So the Gulf states, now you could say they're much closer, so maybe they have to do it. But, they also could stay out. But they made a mistake when they started lobbing missiles at them. And here's the good thing. The Gulf states, they are rich and they have a lot of Patriots. Our Patriot missile, which is an anti-missile missile. And
Thanks
it's
for telling us
unbelievable. They fired at us one day at a certain asset that we have, namely the...
There's no way. Bro, there's no way he should be saying all this shit. I can't possibly believe this.
Aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln, one of the beauties of the world, one of the great beauties of the world. They fired 101 missiles out of 100. These things are going more than 2,000 miles an hour. And out of 101 missiles, 101 were shot down like nothing and are now at the bottom of the sea, the remnants of them. Think of it, 101 missiles shot. In a short period of time, all 101 were knocked out. So we have the greatest military equipment. We have the greatest people. We have the strongest military in the world by far, and everybody sees it, whether it's Venezuela or what we've done with Iran. And when I read, the fake news talking about how well Iran's doing, they're not doing well at all. They're getting killed. I could take out Iran in one day.
One day, guys.
In 1 hour.
1
I
hour.
could have their entire energy, everything, every one of their plants, their
Destroyed.
electric generating plants,
Completely.
which is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
And I
guys.
hate to do it because if I do
But he
it,
might
it
have
takes
to
you
do it.
10 years to rebuild. They'll never be able to rebuild it. And the other thing you take out are the bridges. I took out one just to show them because
Just to
they
show
went
them in case they
public
didn't think you could
with
do
a
it.
statement that wasn't true. They admitted it. I say, I'm going to take out a bridge. And I took out a bridge. And that was the end of that. Now they've been really behaving quite well. But in one half of a day, they wouldn't have one bridge standing. They wouldn't have one electric generating plant standing. And they're back in the Stone Ages. I'd rather not do that. But I do believe they're going to come to the table on this because nobody can be so stupid as to say that we want to have nuclear weapons and they have no cards. They have no cards whatsoever.
Out of cards,
so
guys.
if they do not give up that effort, is that the plan? Will you further destruct Iran?
Yeah, I will. If they don't give that plan up, yeah. I'm not in huge hurry. What we want to do is we'll open up the strait. But the ships are coming up to the United States.
Let's talk about that.
I've been
let's
inviting
talk about that,
everybody.
Trump.
It's pretty good.
Let's talk about that, Mr. President, because you referred to a post that hundreds of super tankers are headed to the Gulf of America to buy oil and gas from the U.S. What can you tell us about that, sir?
Well, I can tell you that it used to be called the Gulf of Mexico. That's what I can tell you. Now it's called the Gulf of America because of me. One of my little things that I did, one of my little sidelines. And it's a great honor. People are so happy. You go to Louisiana, you go to Florida, you go to these states, Texas. They're so honored by it. I used to say, why? Why is that the Gulf of Mexico when we have 93% of the frontage? And, it fronts 93% in the United States. I said, I think I'm going to change it to the Gulf of America. What a beautiful name. And I did. And I give a lot of credit to Google because once I filed the papers, I did it. And once Google Map changed, did it, it was a done deal. But we had lawsuits, we won everything, and it's now the Gulf of America, which I'm very honored by.
But do you expect super
I must tell you, I was thinking
He's
about
talking,
calling
please.
it the Gulf of Trump, and
Epic,
I
sir.
decided not
Epic,
to do
sir.
it. I think maybe it would. I think that one maybe wouldn't have worked out. I'm not so sure. You'll have to tell me. But I was thinking about it's going to be called the
Frickin'
Gulf
epic,
of Trump.
sir.
And then I said, that's not going to play too well.
I think you're
I'm kidding.
You're being facetious.
No,
I know
Oh,
that.
Grandpa.
But
The
what
fake news will have a headline tomorrow.
oil exporters? Tell me about this, because do you expect super tankers, empty super tankers, to go to the Gulf of America, to go to Louisiana, go to Texas?
Well, they're already coming. Well, Texas, they're going to go to Texas. They're going to go all along our shoreline. I mean, we have the biggest ports, and they're going to go. Remember this, and this is pretty amazing. And this is my time. That when I came into office, we were third and fourth in energy and in doing exactly this, the oil and gas and other things. Now we're bigger than Saudi Arabia. Think of this. And we're bigger than Saudi Arabia. Add Saudi Arabia with Russia and add another country in there, whichever one you want. We're bigger than all of them combined. Think of that. That's all because of Trump.
All of them combined.
When Biden inherited that system, he changed it. Then he tried going back to it because the oil was going up. You remember it was going up $7, $8, etc. But look at even now. We have to get rid of this nuclear threat. And people in our country have oil. People in other countries are getting hurt. One of the things that most amazes me, though, the strait is for Japan, where they get 93% of their oil. You know that, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea gets 45% of its oil. These people haven't helped us. I say, are you guys going to help? And, we have 45,000 soldiers and 50,000, respectively, at those two places. 45 and 50,000 soldiers. We guard them and protect them. And when we want a little help, they don't help us.
A little bit of
And when
help,
we
just a
wanted
tiny
help
little
from
bit,
NATO,
guys.
They don't help us. And we paid, I don't know if you saw, almost $1 trillion toward NATO in a very short period of time to protect them against Russia, mostly. And then when we're there, and, Biden, I wouldn't have done this. You wouldn't have had the Ukraine problem. Russia would have never attacked Ukraine. But under Biden, who was an incompetent president, he was grossly incompetent. Look, the election was rigged. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that now.
Oh, we're
And
just
it's all
still
come
using
out,
that talking
and it's
point?
coming
Okay.
out. But
Kind of
under
unhinged,
Biden,
but okay.
if you take a look at what happened when he was president, that's a war that would have never happened. Russia attacking Ukraine.
Yep.
And I ended 8 wars, including Pakistan. Pakistan was great yesterday. They were the ones that really facilitated the meeting.
Right.
But they thanked it. Every time I see them, they thank me and say, we're going to have a war with India. And as the prime minister said very openly to everybody, between 30 to 50 million people would have been killed. And I got it ended. I said, if you guys are going to have a war, we're not going to do any trading with you.
Well,
and believe it or not,
Believe
I
it
got
or not.
ended because of tariffs,
Wow.
Mr.
which the
President,
Supreme Court was not nice to me about. But
is
that's
this
okay.
is this all going to be?
I thought they said they got a huge win, though.
in the street, the opening up capacity in the United States?
so.
Is this going to be
Yeah, I
enough
think
to
so.
lower the price of oil and gas, sir?
Well, it's going to be eventually. It's going to be lower. No, it might not happen initially, but it's going to go down. When this is all over, look, the stock market, the Dow hit 50,000. It was supposed to be in 4 or 5 years. They said it won't happen during his term, but it'll be maybe 4 or 5 years. It hit 50,000 in my first year. You know it better than anybody. You cover it better than anybody. The S&P hit 7,000 in my first year. Before my first year, you know that. And I said to myself, "Oh, here we go. I got to stop this country from having a nuclear weapon." You want to see a stock market go down? Let a couple of nuclear bombs be dropped on us, or frankly, any place else.
That would be real bad for the stock market, guys.
Then you'll see a stock market that goes down. So the stock market has not gone down very much at all. Gone down a little bit, much less than I thought. And frankly, the gas hasn't gone up as much as I thought. But regardless, even if it did,
Who cares?
we have to stop this group of people from having. And again, it was worse because Khomeini was a total
lunatic.
radical. I'll be nice, maniac. He was a maniac.
Oh, thank you for being nice.
And you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
So I just have the greatest economy ever. Everything's going along, and I say, I'm sorry. I tell my economic advisors, I say, I'm sorry, fellas. We're in great shape. We have to go and take a little journey down to Iran, and we have to stop them from having a nuclear weapon. They all said, we agree.
So do you believe the price of oil and gas will be lower before the midterm elections?
Maybe.
I hope so. I mean, I think so. It could be. It could be the same, or maybe a little bit higher. But
Who knows?
it should be around the same. I think this won't be that much longer. They're wiped out, man. They're wiped out, and you don't get a fair shake. You don't get. We need a free and fair press in this country, and I don't even know why people would do that. Why would they say how wonderful they're doing militarily? They're doing so well. The country is wiped out. We lost one airplane, and we captured the 2 pilots. How about we saved those 2 pilots?
Unbelievable.
Which no other country has the
Unbelievable.
capability of doing. Usually when that happens, countries wave goodbye. They say, lots of luck, because you're going deep into enemy.
Yeah.
We went 7 hours into, it was a 7-hour flight
Yes.
to go in and get them. We had one of the roughest areas, one of the most dangerous areas in the world, and we got both of them.
It
They were
was
incredible, but
extraordinary.
we got both of them.
And
you.
thank God that for our military, and I know that you rebuilt the military. Now, Mr. President, before you go, it was you who did the maximum campaign against Iran in your first term. Is it going to be back to the maximum campaign? You deemed them the leading sponsor of terrorism. And I have to ask you about all of these efforts and the impact on China. What you've done in Venezuela, Iran, even your comments about Cuba. Where does that put China as you approach this meeting with Xi Jinping next month?
Sure. Well, in the maximum campaign, you can't do any more maximum. We've wiped out their whole
You can't go
country.
more max than max.
The only thing left, really, is their water, which would be very devastating to hit. I would hate to do it. But it's their water, their desalinization plants, their electric generating plants, which are very easy to hit. We could hit them. We could have them all down. And I mean down like you couldn't have electricity for 10 years, because it takes you 10 years to build
10
those plants from scratch. You'd never probably be able to build them again. And the bridges. So that's really the only thing. We still have some more missile manufacturing plants. We know every one of them. We will do that. We still have other things. But when you talk about maximum, I think, outside of those few things that are remaining, I think I pretty much maxed out. You are very, very violent and vicious. I don't want to have you against me. I'll tell you what you say. I think we pretty much maxed out, other than those few items. And we still have some plants left. We had another week left to knock out the rest of the plants, but we were knocking them out fast. As far as China is concerned, China can send their ships to us. China can send their ships to Venezuela. We told them, buy from Venezuela. We have a lot of overcapacity. We'd sell them, and we'll probably sell it for even less money. I have a very good relationship with President Xi of China, and we work together very well. They're paying us substantial money, as you know. We've never got money before. I listened to this Gordon Chang. He has no idea what he's talking about. We have been very tough on China. Tough but fair. And it's an amazing place. But I have a very good relationship with China, and they've been doing I put tremendous tariffs. I put 100% tariff on all Chinese cars coming in, and that's destroying Europe. They're destroying Europe because they're taking away so much business from Mercedes and BMW, etc. And we don't have any Chinese cars in our country because they would have destroyed General Motors, Ford. They would have destroyed these companies if they did it. So I put 100% tariff on, and in all fairness to Biden, he allowed it to stay on, which is shocking to me.
Right.
It's one of the things, it's about the only thing he did good, but he allowed it to stay. So we don't have the problem that they have. You know, they're having tremendous economic problems in Europe because they're being just swamped with these Chinese cars. We don't have any.
But Mr. President, just to be clear, you said the other day that any country that supports Iran and sends military equipment to Iran will face a 50% tariff if they try
That's
to bring
correct.
products. Did you
That's correct.
refer to China? Did you mean China?
Yes, and other people, but yes, China too. If we find that China, because I hear news reports, so a news report doesn't mean much to me because they're so fake, but I hear news reports about China giving the shoulder missiles, what's called a shoulder missile, anti-aircraft missile. I doubt they would do that because I have a relationship and I think they wouldn't do that, but maybe they did a little bit at the beginning, but I don't think they would anymore. No, but if we catch them doing that, they get a 50% tariff, which is that's a staggering amount.
And did you want to say anything about our NATO allies in terms of what comes next for them, given that, I mean, is it time for them to call Iran the leading state sponsor of terrorism? And what are you going to do because they did not help in this effort?
Well, NATO is shameful. I mean, I didn't go wild at it. We didn't need any help. I would actually say, if you want to help, great. If you don't want to help, that's okay. And
It just doesn't care.
Would rather not, sir. Would rather not. They weren't there for us. If I would have done it with force, maybe I could have gotten them to come in, but they would have come in really begrudgingly, and they would have stayed way behind.
Done it with force?
No, I'm very disappointed.
Like attack NATO to make them join? Or I don't even know what that means.
Kingdom. I love the United Kingdom. My mother was, as you know, born in Scotland, and love it. But Mr. Starmer, PM Starmer said, we'll send the equipment after the war is over. I said, you don't need equipment when the war is over. You need the equipment before the war starts or during the war. He said, no, we'll send it after. He made a public statement that we will send equipment after the war is over. It was that's a Neville Chamberlain type statement. And Germany, the same thing. He said, we didn't start this. Well, we helped them with Ukraine. It would have never happened if I was president, by the way. We would have had the problem with Russia and Ukraine, but we had an incompetent president. But Germany talked all about that we demand, and strong, we demand that this war stop. But most importantly, he said, we didn't start the war. Well, we didn't start the war with Ukraine, but we helped them. I mean, Biden gave them $350 billion. I'm not giving it. I sell things to NATO, and they do what they want with it. I guess they give it to Ukraine, but I sell things at full price.
Yeah.
And we sell it to NATO, and they do what they want with it. But think of it. To make that statement after we've spent $350 billion, they made a statement. The German statement was bad, but all the statements were bad. No, we have to re-examine NATO because they weren't there for us. And let me tell you, and I've said this for 25 years, they weren't there for us, and they won't be there for us.
Yeah.
Wow.
They weren't there for us. This is just a military operation. This is not a hard thing for us. We are so much more powerful. I rebuilt our military in the first term. I'm using it in my second term, and we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. And now I was right with spending all that money on the military. We have the greatest military of the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world. And it's amazing what we've been able to do. You look at Venezuela. We're doing so well with Venezuela. Great time to have Venezuela. And by the way, Venezuela now is making more money than they've ever made before, and we're participating in those profits.
Right.
Wow.
Well, Mr. President, we want to respect
That's amazing,
your
Mr.
time. I know
President.
how busy you are this morning, and I know that we will have part 2 of this interview this week at the White House. So I want to thank you so much for calling in and breaking all of this news this morning, sir. I will see you this upcoming week in the Oval Office, sir, for part 2 of our interview
Marie.
when we discuss the broader issues and the impact on the economy, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox 1.
Let's talk about the Iran negotiations and maybe what went wrong in Islamabad. Joining us now, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
What happened, and where do we go from here?
Well, first of all, Brett, I wouldn't say that things went wrong. I also think things went right. We made a lot of progress, but we also made very clear, and I think this is part of the progress we made, what the terms where the United States could make some accommodation, what terms we were flexible on, and what things we absolutely needed to see in order for the President of the United States to feel deal like he was getting a good deal. And so we laid those things out. We had some good conversations. I think it was the first time that you'd ever seen the Iranian government, the U.S. government meet at such a high level, maybe in the history of the current leadership of Iran. So that's, I think, a positive. And again, we did make some progress in the negotiation. The big question from here on out is whether the Iranians will have enough flexibility, whether the Iranians will accept the critical things that we need to see in order for things to get done.
Well, what are the red lines, like for Iran, and what didn't they accept? Why are we at the place we're at now?
Yeah, so back out just a little bit, Brett. What the President of the United States has said is, number one, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. So all of our red lines flow from that fundamental premise, because it is one thing for the Iranians to say that they themselves are never going to have a nuclear weapon. They are willing to say that, and that's good. But you have to, of course, verify these things. And there are two things in particular where the President of the United States really said we have no flexibility. We have to get to the outcome that the President said. On the first of those things, what some people call the dust, which is the enriched uranium that the Iranians currently possess, we have said that we want that to come out of their country, and we would like to take possession of it. Now, why does that matter? That doesn't matter, of course, because they have access to that material now. That material is actually buried underground by Operation Midnight Hammer. But if you think about this over the long haul, the President doesn't want to leave the next president or the president after that to be worrying about this program. And so we would like to get that material out of the country completely so the United States has control of it. That's number one. And the second thing is that, again, to this point about verification, it's one thing for the Iranians to say that they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. It's another thing for us to put in place the mechanism to ensure that's not going to happen. Part of that is, of course, to ensure that they don't have the ability to enrich uranium, which is how they got so close to a nuclear weapon before. So those are really the two things where, frankly, the Iranians, I think, did make some progress. They moved in our direction, which is why I think we would say that we had some good signs, but they didn't move far enough. And so what we decided is, you know what, given that we don't think this current team and this current timeline is going to be able to make a deal, let them go back to Tehran. We're going to go back to Washington, and that's where we are today.
So is there a next step? Are there more talks coming? Do they happen in Pakistan, and are you leading them?
I know this might sound a bit retarded, but were there any examples in the past of the president and or VP going on mainstream news for one-on-one interviews like this? No, I don't believe so. No.
Well, it's an interesting question, Brett. And I think fundamentally it's a question that would be best put to the Iranians, because the ball really is in their court. We've made clear where we're willing, again, to be accommodating, and we've made clear where we absolutely need to see the nuclear material come out of the country of Iran. Now, what's interesting, Brett, about this is that in the process of doing this negotiation, I do think that we acquired some knowledge about how the Iranians are negotiating. And this is ultimately why we left Pakistan, because what we figured out is that they were unable, I think the team that was there was unable to cut a deal, and they had to go back to Tehran, either from the supreme leader or somebody else, and actually get approval to the terms that we had set. So again, whether we have further conversations, whether we ultimately get to a deal, I really think the ball is in the Iranian court, because we put a lot on the table. We actually made very clear what our red lines were. We also made clear, Brett, that we actually would be very happy. The President of the United States has said he would be very happy if Iran was treated like a normal country, if it had a normal economy, if its people were able to prosper and thrive. But in order for Iran to be a normal country economically...
We're normalizing relations with Iran is the goal? Why did we take the most roundabout possible way of doing that? Why didn't we just start with that, before killing everybody there and bombing them?
It's going to have to be a normal country from the perspective of not pursuing a nuclear weapon, and it's going to have to be a normal country from not pursuing terrorism. And so there really is, I think, a grand deal to be had here, but it's up to the Iranians, I think, to take the next step.
I hear you talking about the enriched uranium and the nuclear weapon and the inability for them to have one in the long term. I don't hear you mentioning fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz, toll-free. Is that one of the red lines?
Well, it's one of the things we talked about, Brett, is that we need to see the Straits of Hormuz fully open. And this is frankly one of the things where the Iranians tried to move the goalposts during the negotiation. We made very clear that that's unacceptable. We came to the negotiation saying the United States, what we've given here is a ceasefire. We've stopped bombing the country. What we expect the Iranians to give up is a full reopening of the Straits of Hormuz. We have seen, as the president has said, some significant uptick in traffic coming through the Straits of Hormuz. That's good for the global economy. It's good for the United States of America as well. But we haven't seen that full reopening. So our expectation is that the Iranians are going to continue to make progress to opening the Straits of Hormuz. And if they don't, it's going to fundamentally change the negotiation that we have with them.
You're not surprised. I mean, the Iranians often talk about negotiations and in a different way. The Iranian foreign minister posted in intensive talks at highest level in 47 years, Iran engaged with the U.S. in good faith to end war. But when just inches away from Islamabad MOU, we encountered maximalism, shifting goalposts, and blockade. Zero lessons earned. Goodwill begets goodwill. Enmity begets enmity. That does not sound like they're heading back to the table anytime soon. Does this ceasefire continue and then the war starts again?
Well, first of all, Brett, I have to give a lot of credit to Field Marshal Munir and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, both who are incredible hosts and I think incredible statesmen, and helping mediate the conversation between us and the Iranians, again, two countries that have not really had serious discussions in a very long time. But to your point about Foreign Minister Arachi's statement, if you see what Foreign Minister Arachi said, yes, there's a little bit of bluster, but if you read between the lines, he himself is saying that we were just inches away from an agreement. And I think that what that suggests is the Iranians, one, they're very interested in making a deal. Two, they did move pretty close to our position over the stage of the negotiations. But one thing I'll say, Brett, is Iranians are very different negotiators. At least those Iranians were very different negotiators than we are in the United States. What I did and what Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff did is that we made very clear, look, these are the things that we're willing to give, but these are the things that we must have. We must have the enriched material out of Iran. We must have their conclusive commitment to
what does that mean? That the Iranians are different negotiators than what we normally talk? How? What?
Develop a nuclear weapon. And I think that if the Iranians are willing to meet us there, then this could be a very, very good deal for both countries. If they're not willing to meet us there, that's up to them. That's their decision. And really the ball is very much in their court. So you ask what happens next? I think the Iranians are going to determine what happens next as the President of the United States says, we have the cards. We have the military advantage. We now have additional economic pressure that we're applying on them through the blockade that we've imposed on their oil coming out of the Straits of Hormuz. So we have a lot of cards. We have the leverage, and we're going to see what the the
We got
Iranians
the cards. Thank God.
And so that's how the blockade works. U.S. naval ships stop Iranian-flagged vessels going to the Strait through the Strait of Hormuz.
Not just Iranian-flagged vessels, Brett, but any vessel that we know is going to Iranian ports or has come from Iranian ports. You're probably going to see some vessels try to reflag themselves, but of course we're going to know because we have very good intelligence which ships are going in and which ships are coming out that are connected to Iran. But Brett, here's the very interesting thing about all this is that the only thing the Iranians have been able to do, they haven't of course beaten us militarily, they've had their military been decimated. They haven't been able to prosecute the case when it comes to weapons of war. What they have done is engage in this act of economic terrorism against the entire world. They basically threatened any ship that's moving through the Straits of Hormuz. Well, as the President of the United States showed, two can play at that game. And if the Iranians are going to try to engage in economic terrorism, we're going to abide by a simple principle that no Iranian ships are getting out either.
So we're going to do the same. Great. Based. Okay.
We know that's a big deal to them. We know that applies additional economic leverage. And again, Brett, the president wants the Iranian people to thrive and succeed. He has had his negotiation team put on the table a serious proposal. The ball is in Iran's court. Did we make progress? Yes. But we're going to find out from the Iranians whether we can make that ultimate bit of progress that gets us to a big deal.
The president's also said he wants this to end soon as it can. It's being reported that you had real skepticism about this at the beginning and that you expressed that to the president. Is that true?
Well, Brett, you know, I give my advice to the President of the United States, and we all do, and I expect that when I give advice to the President of the United States, that it's going to be private, because the President should rely on his senior advisors without them then running to the media. What I will say, Brett, is that I 100% agree with the President on the fact that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I've seen that just in the negotiation that we've had over the last couple of days, that these are tough negotiators, but they're fundamentally the kinds of people where them having a nuclear weapon would impose terrible costs on the entire world. If they're willing to engage in economic terrorism on the entire world, what would it mean? What leverage would they have if they had a nuclear bomb in Tehran? That's not an outcome that is acceptable to us or really should be acceptable to anybody. So I 100% support the President's goals here to keep nuclear weapons, to keep the worst weapons of war out of the hands of the Iranians.
A few more things, Mr. Vice President. You say there's progress being made here and the trip to Pakistan was not fruitless. However, I'm not hearing the next step if the Iranians don't do the next step. You also campaigned for Viktor Orban in Hungary, and he lost that race, defeated after 16 years in power.
What happened there, buddy?
Your thoughts about whether it was worth it to go support Viktor Orban in that race, considering he lost significantly and he's one of the only European leaders who supports Vladimir Putin?
Well, first of all, Brett, I think that Viktor Orban's a great guy who's done a very good job. I think that his legacy in Hungary is transformational, 16 years fundamentally changing that country. But one of the reasons why we decided to do that, Brett, is not because, we can't read polls. We certainly knew there was a very good chance that Viktor would lose that election. We did it because he's one of the few European leaders we've seen who's been willing to stand up to the bureaucracy in Brussels that has been very, very bad for the United States. So, for example, when you see a European bureaucrat go after an American company, sometimes the only vote no, the
bureaucracy in Brussels. He's talking about he's shitting on the European Union. I don't think I've ever in my life heard a U.S. leader say Brussels. Every single time you hear Brussels spoken as an insult, it's always a Eurosceptic person from the EU. That's crazy. Maybe there have been a speech, or maybe there's been speeches where some Eurosceptic American person has said it, but that's almost exclusively like a European talking point.
To protect that American interest has been Viktor Orban.
Or Eurosceptic
we didn't go
talking
because
point.
we expected Viktor to cruise to an election victory. We went because it was the right thing to do, to stand behind a person who had stood by us for a very long time. So this wasn't about Russia, and fundamentally it wasn't about Europe. It was about the United States and the fact that he's been a good partner to both me and the president personally, but also to the United States. I'm sad that he lost. We'll work very well, I'm sure, with the next prime minister of Hungary. But it wasn't a bad trip at all, because it's worth standing by people, even if you don't win every race.
Mr. Vice President, stand by if you would. Special report continues with the Vice President of the United States after this.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
Destiny, you're wrong about this. It's common in news stuff. It's like someone saying Washington, D.C. instead of the government. What? No, you're retarded. Brussels is referring to the European Council, the European Union. It's referring to criticisms of the EU. Oh my God, black people of Reddit.
God can't disappoint you,
Wait, is she the Jubilee lady, or?
He's a good father. He is. And he has the best intentions for you. His plans are to prosper you. Bring you to an expected end, but your life does not. Oh my God, bruh. We gonna keep this?
Wait, what happened?
Your life does not.
Oh, I wasn't watching. Sorry. God's plan.
My God.
Oh no.
Oh my God, bruh. We gonna keep this? Nigga, I can't even reach it, bro. This is beyond embarrassing. Wait a minute. Bro.
Also got a supermajority in Parliament, which they need to undo a lot of the pro-Russia policies. Why is it so common for black women to wear wigs? I don't know. It's hard to grow their hair out. They can't grow hair. Why is it harder for black women to grow out their hair? It's difficult to maintain. Racism. Okay. It's hard to straighten curly hair. Any black women in DGG? Hard to grow it and takes a lot of work to do it nice. This is an XQC clip.
I'm more mad at Jimmy for this. Guys, Jimmy should have had the rules straight. No, you can't physically move somebody. End of story. You can't physically move somebody or it's in a story. Otherwise, what stops me from pushing them outside of the circle?
No,
me,
I didn't mean to go range.
Marlon, the other
no,
guys,
fuck.
and Arky were going to leave the room before getting eliminated. So that's 4 other people will be eliminated. Because if we self-eliminate, right, in the challenge, they need to find the 4 other guys that have the paintball stuff on them, and then they would get eliminated, right? And then Jimmy stopped the game, brought in the game lawyer from another room inside the playroom, and they had a competitive ruling from the lawyer that we could not do that. And I was like, yo, what the f? So in my opinion, for the Rakai stuff, they should have had the lawyer come in, because I mean, he did move the guy and
I don't even know what this drama's about.
use him as a shield. I mean, I don't think that was allowed. I'm more mad at Jimmy for this. Guys.
Better XQC clip.
Some friendships might get ruined after this one.
Jesus.
Is 60 months worthy of a welcome to the jungle?
Oh wait, you need a little taily, huh?
Wait, my camera?
Yeah, it doesn't look like.
Fingers are too shaky.
Okay. I rather Nana offer this humble tribute as a prayer. Please give Andor a chance as a member of IC and secure and former Recondo. It is the best depiction of tradecraft politics I've ever seen in cinema. Man, Andor's got a lot of fanboys. That's what makes me not trusted, by the way, is just the fandom. I know not to trust unhinged fandoms ever, and that's why I know the show is probably trash. Got him. Uh-oh.
What's going on in here?
Nothing. Just bored. Waiting for my show in 30 minutes.
What show?
I don't know. I'm doing a bunch of debates in the Darius Discord.
Oh, that's where your enemies can come and confront you, right?
Maybe, I guess. We'll see.
There's a Darius Discord. Unfortunately. Yes, there is. Lav got invited to it.
Oh, boy.
Really? You're prepared for this, huh?
I'm prepared for everything. For all eventualities. For the alpha and the omega.
I mean, you can set up Streamlabs in like 2 seconds for the donation, you know?
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Is that sarcasm? Because you won't actually get right on that?
Holy shit. Are you an investigator now?
Yeah, some people say that I have the best insight on individuals, so let's be on the lookout.
Okay, I'll be looking out. What have you been up to today? Anything exciting?
Yes, I got my idle control working.
Good job. I thought you did this yesterday.
I did, and it wasn't working. But I fixed it today. So a 4-wire idle control valve consists of 2 solenoids, and I wired it up to the car's computer. But silly me, I had the first solenoid in the second solenoid position and vice versa. And I was wondering, why am I idling at 2,000 RPM? And the answer is because I had them backwards. So I went and I did it, and now I can control my idle. I can have whatever idle speed I want. I'm like the reality is what I... that guy, Thanos, that's me, okay? Except for my idle speed. I also realized that some wires that are supposed to be in my car are not there anymore, which is slightly concerning, but that was just for some emission stuff, so, you know, not a huge deal.
No big deal. Who cares? Emission stuff? More like,
exactly.
You don't live in California, do you? Nope. Who cares?
Exactly. I do need to, I think I need to change up my exhaust a little bit, because right now, my wastegate, is your car a turbo? It is, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea what an EcoBoost is. Is it turbocharged or supercharged?
Definitely turbo. Do they put supers on small cars?
They can.
Okay.
But anyways, the turbocharger, when it reaches max boost, the exhaust needs to stop spinning the turbo, because that would be bad, because you'd start over boosting. So what it does is the wastegate opens up, and it starts dumping all of the extra exhaust. Now in your car, in normal cars, that goes into your exhaust, so it's not loud and obnoxious. But in mine, the guy who did the exhaust for me was like, how about if we just dump this to the air? So whenever my car hits max boost, it sounds like it's straight pipe and it's obnoxious. So I need to put that back into the exhaust. I need to plumb those 2 things together. And then I'm pretty close, honestly. Pretty pog.
Well, that's pretty awesome, dude. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be crazy pog.
Yeah. I'm going to do my Grow Score car reveal video.
Oh no, the Super. I remember that. Those were the days with the Twisted Fate rap.
Yeah, exactly. And the 1990s music on it. Oh god, it can be Shrinema. Digital ground game is fighting Lycan. Why?
Lycan's always on some retarded Twitter shit, but I feel like it's just to be expected at this point, right?
I'm not sure the purpose of, it's like kicking, I don't know. I was gonna say like kicking a downed opponent, but it's like,
well, like a downed opponent, right?
Oh god. It's like stomping on a snail with no snail shell. There's nothing. I don't know. It hurts. Like when his tweets pop off, it's when he's hitting 5 likes. What do you want me to say?
Jesus.
Oh, I sent you a thing in the group chat. Did you watch that on stream? Because I thought it was funny.
Did I?
Earlier.
Mocking, by the way. You're mocking.
Oh, bro, if I wanted to mock, I would mock. You don't want to go there, bro, because I can seriously.
Yeah, I remember what you said last time.
What did I say last time?
He was talking about our prophet and Aisha.
Was it? Oh yeah. How old was she? 6'7", 6'7"?
You're a grown-ass man, my brother. You're a grown-ass man. You know how many pedophiles...
Do you know who wasn't a grown-ass woman? Aisha.
Jeez.
It's kind of wild. The slicker came back and he's like gambling right now, huh?
No, that's actually the least wild thing ever. That's what addicts
I mean,
do, right?
I guess, yeah.
That's how they go. Shrimple as. Shrimple as.
You know what you can do? A time guesser. I'm very good at this game, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Wait.
hope you get eviscerated.
Me
in
too.
This, whatever the.
How long is this shit
on.
supposed to go, Radiant? You know what I need to psychologically prepare myself for.
You need to listen to like some hype music or something.
Oh, yeah?
Can you stop? When I say something, I don't need the fucking filler words.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
yeah, I should listen to some hype music. What kind of hype music, Dan? I
don't know. Engage with what I'm saying.
Oh,
You could be like
Yahoo News. I don't believe that.
That's a shit sound effect to say to that. It's garbage. Would you just hit whatever the fucking came to
Somebody
you?
vex this guy.
There you go.
Oh, shit's sake.
We got to hit him up with the... Shut up. You're
Yeah.
so easy to make laugh. It's so cringe.
Do you have the huh?
What? Like that?
Yes. All the different ones. You need a whole page of them.
I do. I got them.
Stop.
What?
All right. Oh, what other meme? There was another meme I saw today. That was funny. It was
What?
this one, and it has your voice in it. And I was gonna change it, but then I was lazy. That's right there. That's funny.
You're right. I got
Hassan.
derangement syndrome. I hate the mother. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse.
True. Absolutely true. 21st, Dan. Big hearing. That's
Oh yeah.
when-
What's it on?
I don't know. Hopefully it's on everything. Whether we keep this case around or not.
In-person hearing?
Yep.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is there a subject matter for the hearing, or are you just YOLO guessing, or what?
The subject matter is supposed to be on just a continuance to push the trial down 2 months or back 2 months. My guess would have been that it would have just been automatically granted, but the judge called for a hearing right after they filed it before our response. So maybe they want to ask about the subject matter jurisdiction. I'm hoping they're going to ask us questions about the motion for summary judgment stuff. Is my guess.
You think Lauren De Laguna will be in person?
No, she's not. No. But Pixie won't even be there. I don't even know if Joan will be there. Usually it's just the one guy. She didn't show up for the last hearing because it's just a joke and a meme for these people. Maybe even none of Pixie's legal team will be there. Who the fuck knows?
Well, don't you win if that happens?
Not necessarily, but I mean, it would look really bad for them. I probably would, yeah. It would be pretty bad, yeah. Only you have to be there in person? I don't have to be, but I mean, it's kind of important to me. I like to be there for it's kind of a meaningful thing in my life. It's not just a meme like it is for Pixie.